Welcome to Frogfoot Holler, y'all. I'm Michael. My nephew Cole's behind the camera today. And guys, we're out in our main garden. And if you remember correctly by watching some of my other videos, I said I had a project coming up in the main garden where I'm going to be, well, doing it a little differently. And guys, well, it's going to be a lot of work doing it the way I want to do it, but it'll save a lot of money too. See, we got trees on our property, some pine trees that I've been wanting to take down, and I've been kind of not doing it because I want to be able to use that wood somehow. See, we don't use pine to burn in the fireplace. So for us, it's kind of a trash wood. So I've been trying to figure out what all to do with it. So I come up with a good idea. We're going to use it in the garden. See guys, we're actually going to be making our garden beds out of these pine logs. And what we're doing is we're cutting the sides to 10-foot lengths and cutting these ends right here to 4-foot lengths. And we're going to be making beds. This way I won't be over fertilizing the walkways and growing the grass really good. So I'll be able to actually know exactly where I need to fertilize that and stop it. And the beds will be, well, here all the time. Now the way these logs are, they're put in so they're easy enough to replace. So if one of the logs gets rotten before the other logs, I can just take it out, get another log and put it in. But this is going to take a long time to get this whole garden that way. And I'm doing it in sections. Now the first section I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have, hopefully, 4 more beds beside this one going down that way. And, well, first we got to cut the trees, then cut the logs in lengths, and then peel the logs. Whew, that's going to be a lot of work. Once we get the logs peeled, it's pretty much as easy as marking it out, laying the log down, and going to the next one. But guys, let's jump over to where we're going to be cutting the trees. All right guys, so we've jumped over here to the edge of our woods, and this pine tree right here is the size I'm looking for. It's about 8 inches in diameter and really tall. I mean, really tall. So this tree is going to have fewer branches because where it grew up in a lot of shade and competing with other trees. So it's trying to shoot as far up as it can before it really starts putting off any branches. So it'll make peeling the log a lot easier. But guys, what I'm also looking at when I'm cutting this tree down is which way is it going to fall. This tree is leaning that way, and it's actually a path of less resistance, not as many tree limbs or anything like that to catch it. So hopefully it'll fall just the way I want it to and not, well, cause any headaches today. But also I'm looking at other stuff. I'm looking for widow makers, and what you say, what is a widow maker? Well, widow maker is anything up in the trees that might come down on top of your head as you're cutting the tree down. So you need to be paying attention to what's around the tree and what possibly can harm you. Such as this tree right here. This is a dead pine tree, beetle killed, and it is also very tall. So this tree right here, I'm going to be watching out for. I may end up taking down just to be safer. But guys, we got 8 10-foot logs that we've got to get. And we've already got 2 of the 4-foot logs, so we need 6 more. And well, we're going to get all those cut up, and then we're going to peel them all. So let's get to cutting some. That's what I figured. All right guys, so y'all remember me talking about this tree being a headache? it's being a headache. So what we have is a tree has fallen in between those two trees right there, and there's actually no way to get it down without cutting one of those trees down or pulling the log itself or pulling the tree itself. And well, this means we have a little bit of work to do. So we're going to get on getting this tree down and, well, get logs cut up. So we'll be right back. All right, guys, we have jumped to a new day here, and we have all our logs that we need for this little part of the project. Got them right here, and we got them right there. And, well, now it's time to peel them. And to do this, I'm taking a flat tip shovel. A flat tip shovel? Yeah. So you can use the edge right here to get up underneath the bark and peel it. So I'm going to demonstrate what we're doing. So flat tip shovel, take it, and you want a little bit of edge space here, so about 8 inches or so. And the trouble is getting that initial one started. But once you get it started, it comes on off real easy, as you can see. Then you can go the other direction now that you got it started fairly easily. Now, once you come up across a knot or something like that, it can be a pain in the rear. But it still will work, you just got to work with it. Now, we're using these red bricks right here to hold the logs and to keep them from moving, which sometimes works, sometimes don't. It just depends on how hard you're having to push. But you can peel a log with a flat tip shovel. Now, what if you got a better tool? Well, let's take a look at this better tool. And through the magic of TV or video or phone, whatever magic you want to believe it is, we have swapped to the better tool. This is actually a floor scraper or a root chopper or a bark pillar. This thing is made by Razorback, and it's roughly about $30 at Tractor Supply. But it's got a nice heavy blade on it, but it also has kind of an angled pitch on the blade, so it gets underneath the bark a lot easier. And as you can see, it does a really good job of getting underneath that bark. Now, the one drawback with this tool is you got to bend over a lot more. So if you had the ability to go ahead and raise your log up, that's a great thing. Now, right here we have a knot, and this tool right here is really good for knots because you can normally power through it and get to the other side. But you see I missed some right there. So what I'm going to do is come back from this side and go like that. That way I get the knot out, or the bark away from the knot. So, just like that, we got a little part of it peeled. And we've used this tool already for a couple of logs. It is really, really, really nice. It is worth it. And if you got to do a lot of peeling, I suggest get this tool versus a flat point shovel. But like I said, if you don't have the tool or don't have the money for the tool, flat point shovel works just as well. It'll just work you a little bit more. So we're going to hit Super Frog mode and get some of these done, and then we're going to be placing them into the garden. All right, guys, so we've gotten all our logs peeled, and you might see some logs on here that aren't peeled. And that's because those are gum logs. And, well, taking down one of the trees, pine trees, I had to take down a gum tree too. So I didn't want to waste the wood. And gum is one of the woods that we typically will not burn in our fireplace also. So it normally gets, well, trashed or burned out in a bonfire or something. But we will not use this burning in our fireplace. So instead of trashing it, I decided to make a garden bed out of it. And, well, we tried to get the bark off of it, and come to find out it don't come off as easy as the pine tree does. So we left the bark on. Yep. So we're going to actually use the gum logs as one bed by itself. And I figured, well, that'll kind of give me an idea of how long the gum logs last with bark on versus the pine logs last without bark. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a tape measure, and you see this little red post right here. I'm marking 24 inches from the edge of my first bed, so that way I have plenty of room to walk, and we're going to be laying down the second bed. So each of these logs will be, or each of these beds will be 24 inches apart, and hopefully that'll be plenty enough room to run my tiller between. I hope I don't have to move these over an inch just because tiller might be too wide. But it's a 17-inch tiller, or at least my Husqvarna is. And, well, yeah, it died. So either we're going to replace the motor or get a new one. Haven't decided yet. But either way, figuring about 17, 18 inches for a tiller if we get a new one. And that should be plenty of room, 24 inches. But what we did is went ahead and marked out with a post the 24-inch space. We'll put our side log down, and I went ahead and took my round point shovel and made an indention in the ground. So that way the log will not roll off one way or the other. It sets right where we place it. Then we'll put our 2 4-foot logs down, and then our second side bed log. So we got 1, 2, 3, hopefully 4. I'm hoping 4. I want 5 beds, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get it with the spaces I'm allowing. We'll see. All right, so we're going to jump into super frog mode and get this knocked out. And we are back from super frog mode, y'all. All right, guys, so I actually did my math right, and we were able to get 5 beds in here. Now, we're going to be continuing these beds this way, and our next set of beds to do are 5 8-foot beds. And reason being is because of my gate where it's located, I want a clear walkway between the gate and the back fence. So we're going to do 5 8-foot beds. Now, guys, this is a project that's going to be continually going and going and going. But I got one tip for you when it comes to gardening, guys. Never get stuck in the same rut. Always be willing to try something new. Now, technically, this is raised bed gardening. Technically, because I could add more dirt here and the beds would be raised up. But I'm calling this defined beds because their sole purpose is to give me a better idea when I go to do my counts for how many of each plant I need. I'll actually be able to say, okay, I got 5 10-foot beds, and let's say I want, 8 tomato plants, all right? So I know one 5-foot or 10-foot bed can hold 8 tomato plants. So it'll make things a lot easier. At least that is the purpose behind the whole premise I'm doing this. And also, it just helps my OCD, guys. See, every year we come out here and in-ground gardening, we remake the beds, and I don't know how many times we actually remade the beds this year before I finally liked the design. And, well, I was getting tired of that. So this way the beds are set and I'll be able to, well, be happy with myself. Plus it offers a better benefit of when I'm fertilizing, I don't have to fertilize these walking paths. I can fertilize right where the plants are and not have to worry about it. So when I put the fertilizer down before the plants are there, I just put it in the bed instead of, well, I'm not sure exactly where they're going, so I'm spreading it all over the place. So it'll save me on fertilizer. But guys, y'all might be wondering, why didn't I screw any of these, well, wood logs together? Well, the reason being is these end logs have a purpose for it. And what it is, well, when it's time to replace the logs, I can replace them easy. But if I want to get my tiller in here, I can take both the ends out and till this little section and put the ends right back. So that is actually the purpose, the reason why I did not screw anything down, is ease of replacement and if I need to move the logs. So guys, we got a lot of work ahead of us that's going to be done over time. So as y'all continue watching, this bed or my main garden is constantly going to be changing. And remember, don't get stuck in the same rut. I am a 100% believer in in-ground gardening if you got the property to do it and if the ground is good to do it. But that don't mean I ain't willing to try something new. All right, guys, this has been Mike with Frogfoot Holler. Y'all have a froggy day.